again. It's been a while, and here we are. This is uh, going to be going on Wisdom Cafe, and we both just did a little talk for Coach MJ's leadership forum for unleashing firepower. And I can tell you that there's some amazing speakers that, yeah, you were one of the speakers. There's amazing authors within a book who spoke, and each one had great insights into the principles of leadership. And it's something that we can all learn from each one of them. I know that I personally will learn. I'm curious to discover their insights, and then one day I'll get to meet all of them in person and even gain more insights from them. So
Yes, that's wonderful. I actually enjoyed that. And what amazing experts that Coach MJ truly gathered and co-authors of this amazing, I would say, success handbook for business entrepreneurs and leaders. And it was such an honor to share this joy and celebrate this launch because I know it is going to help many that get hand on this amazing book, whether it's on
mhm.
Kindle, paperback.
Yes. Yeah, I know that I already grabbed my copy
Me as
on
well.
that. Yeah, yeah, and you'll see the link in the description for the copy of the book. So I believe he has it both in Kindle and in paperback. And
Yes.
yeah, yes. So I know that here on Wisdom Cafe, it is all about like learning and learning true wisdom and so forth. And each one of the guests gave insights, not just on leadership, also in the area of mindset, also in various areas of wisdom that we can apply personally into our lives. Whether you run a business, you're a startup business, an entrepreneur, whether you work within a business, because uh, leaders leadership itself is not about having a title. One thing I learned in the Marines is that any Marine can become a leader. And and when a moment is right, the right leader will step up and take charge. And and when you're even an employee in somebody else's business, when a moment is right, you can step up as a leader. You don't need a title that says I'm a manager or I'm this or I'm that. You step up and you will be recognized. And it's important, as I talked about, developing the competence beforehand. And as Jeff Engel, the Navy SEAL, talked about, being humble. All those are very important. And each one of the speakers gave insights that you can learn and apply into your own life right now. So that's what the book will give you all those insights. And MJ, he has his uh, program where he's going to be able to have all those leaders, and including, I know that he invited you, DrSofie, to become part of that in helping out others.
Yes, that's
So
absolutely.
I know that you uh, had various leadership titles, but you also have led from all kinds of different positions. And and even having to face challenges, whether they're cultural and otherwise, you were able to step up, and I've seen that through the years. So I would like your insights in terms of like what this book has to offer, and and your own experiences as a leader.
Yes. You know, it's like not a one size fit all. And the world is made with colors and flavors and sounds and very diversified. And because of that, we need a lot of different tools and to really sharpen our skill sets, our soul skill sets skill sets that we can use in any moment. Like you mentioned, you don't have to be in a leader position as a title to step up and lead your truth or guide others towards something that is well or beneficial for the betterment of all. Because self-leadership is where everything starts. And to get to that, it starts with self-awareness. Because how can we lead when we ourselves are not clear on what guidance that we are offering to those around us? First of all, to yourself, right? So I really was very inspired by a lot of the different stories and, you know, I would say skill sets that each leader demonstrated in their own way, in their own story, in their own chapter. And when we're talking about people who've been very selected carefully to really fit this book mission, is because their background has shown the results. Okay. So when we lead, and in my personal view, you mentioned to share that. Because of, my background, I have my doctor's in spiritual development, and I operate and function from that foundation. And regardless of anyone's authentic background, religion, or race, it doesn't really matter. We're all human, and we are all able to operate in spirit when we are aware. And with that being said, you become more conscious of what actions you're taking, why, and how. Okay. In matters of life and death, what happens is the reprogramming of your mind is already there. You don't have to program it at the moment because it takes a lot of practice and work throughout the years, throughout experience, throughout setbacks and feedback and failures and all of that for you to develop that strong inner compass of how you want to lead and direct and choose in certain situations. So truly, those buttons cannot just go on at that one moment. We have our conscious mind, we have our subconscious mind. So when we're creating, we wake up, we're ready for our day, we have our wishes, our desires, that's one thing. But then we have the programming of our subconscious mind that came from many different places, siblings, family, personal experiences, fears, doesn't matter, limiting beliefs, all of that. And when that plays in the background, sometimes it creates a conflict of what we truly desire to do and what we have the courage to do and what we are afraid to do. And when that happens, it's hard to really self-lead with strength. It will always feel you have one foot in and one foot out. So the good thing to remember always is when we continue to work on self and we continue to grow and learn and we gain information that helps us really understand our emotional values, our pain values, our gain values. And as we cultivate all that and we really process it and be able to practice within, we are able to make choices and take decisions in a complete different way. And that confidence comes from our knowing of thyself more, of understanding. What we understand, we can conquer. Those things are important for us to recognize and realize that we're not just, on a play mode by default of a program that we're just accustomed to say to ourselves or heard before we know that our boss or our family member or would want us to be in that format, but truly that's not who we really are. So it is very important to strengthen positive patterns because those become our habits. And the subconscious mind is what our habits really are, not what we just wish to have and desire to be. And therefore, when we master, and this is what I really love, we've worked together in the past on NLP, and you currently also are leading an amazing program and certification with that. I really believe in the power of really working with that area of the brain, because what happens when you face adversity and challenges, when maybe there is no internet connection or a phone call to consult with your wise counsel, that your subconscious mind and your mental practice from years and whatever you're investing in self will come to rescue you in any season and time, because you will own that knowledge and that modality of practice, and you will use different ones accordingly. And when it comes to executive leadership, it is very important that we are level-headed. We remain, calm and collective when needed. We practice our emotional intelligence and the way we deliver, the way we actively listen, and the way we are also receiving our information. All of those things really bring into a bigger round picture of this real confident, strong leader that leads from authentic integrity, that has great character, that doesn't fall under you doing the wrong things in times of desperation. Because this is what you are really putting in the programs that you are doing. When those moments come, you are prepared and more ready to face them with much more strength. And even if you face, surprises or challenges, you don't stay in a corner too long. You don't stay stagnant too long. You don't pause too long where you don't know and you don't get it. And you have your alliance, you have your masterminds, you have your friends, you have your own self, you have your tools, you have your resources. So when you get to that stage, you learn how to work with your internal and external resources because they're also important. But your internal resources are very rich because they are things that you own and you can use at any given time. But we live in a world and we all need each other, and our external resources are as important. So it is wise to really build community, to have the right, circle of people around, that when you do go through such times, you're able to pivot and shift faster and adjust and truly be more adaptable to your experiences at that moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, whenever I talk to people, I want them to discover like what is it that they truly want? What's their biggest desire? And I teach this concept that comes from Robert Fritz on creative tension. And whenever we strive for something, we need to know what is it that we really desire, but we also need to know our current reality.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people fail to address this current reality because we have to be honest with ourselves and like what you were talking about in terms of the overall aspects in terms of knowing thyself is very important. And I know like with recently I went and had my colonoscopy done and they found 7 polyps and I'm waiting for the biopsies. The doctor was concerned about one of the polyps. It could be cancerous, and
Mm.
whether it is or not, it doesn't matter. I have to address and be honest with myself where I'm at. What did I do that led me to have all these polyps? So I have to be honest there. I can't go out and lie to myself that, well, I thought I was doing everything right. I have to like check back, be self-aware, and be aware of all kinds of other things. Then I like, okay, this is my reality. What actions am I going to take? If everything is good, I still need to take positive actions to get even better. And I also when I tell people I want them to find their north or their including their personal values, things that are going to guide them to their what I call their true north. Everybody has their own true north, and one I will address and I talk about having a compass, but this is just one. This is somebody's. So I actually have a whole bunch of compasses here. So these represent everybody's true north. I have like 100 of these small compasses that actually work, and and it just reminds me of okay, I know myself, or at least I attempt to know myself, but the truth is, can me knowing myself and my worldview be the same as everybody else's? No. Everybody is different. Everybody is on their own guiding path. And in leadership, I have to understand that as well. I have to address every single person in terms of looking at at least attempt to look at it through their worldview, not my worldview, because that will never work. So having all these uh, compasses, just me holding them, represents these are different people and they have a different worldview. They have different maps that they look at. They're going different pathways and so forth. It's not my pathway, it's their pathway. So I will always continue in looking at that way. And and even like when I'm teaching, as I earlier when I spoke, I look at like I will ask a participant, how can I teach you better? What can I do as an instructor that will make you better where you can understand it? I need to know everything. So you tell me how I could be a better instructor for you. And I will always continue to do that. And as Jeff Engel talked about, being humble. So that's very important. I think the best and most competent leaders will always stay humble. They will always know what they don't know. And
Uh,
yeah, so that's where I go in terms of that. And all of these compasses remind me that these are all different individuals with their own pathways.
and their map of the world could be completely different, and that's still okay. Because when we respect and accept others, and really respect those boundaries, then we allow of them to respect ours as well.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. And by the way, these are really cool little things that I suggest you carry one with you because I sent one to one person and this is a young girl who went with her mother down to your neck of the woods, there, Sophie, from North Carolina down to Florida.
Uh-huh.
And her phone died. And she had no GPS or anything like that. And she used this compass to help guide her. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, so yeah, so having our own
Tools.
compass, yeah, our own tools. Yeah, we gather a lot of tools and everything like that. So even having something like that helps. Yeah, so I always carry one with me and wherever I go and important. But it's my guiding compass again. This is my direction, and this is just a reminder of that and so
Well,
forth.
that's good because, I have one in my phone, but still, like you said, your phone can die, things could happen, and then you have a sense of true direction.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Again, I continue to grow as a leader, as a person, and so forth, and discovering what I don't know from the plethora of all the books that I look at and the new books I'm getting in, and 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 oh my gosh, it just I like Umberto Eco. He talks about the anti-library, and I think yeah. So he had like close to 40,000 books before he passed away, and he has it because it's a reminder that of what he doesn't know from all the books he has not read, and where he still has to continue to go. So it keeps him humble. And
Yeah, being modest is very important and humble. Otherwise, we think we know it all and we don't
correct,
invite new information in.
correct. Again, the best leaders are humble, and that's one of the things of being wise. Even Socrates knew that when he was asked who he thinks the wisest person um, in the kingdom was, and he said he couldn't answer that, and he would go and find people all over when they talk, when asking them the same questions, and they would say like so and so is the wisest person. He would go see so and so, and that so and so said they, like all these, and people even said that, well, like you're the wisest person, and he stayed humble in terms of that, even though he realized he was probably the wisest person. But true wisdom is understanding that you're not the wisest person, and that you will continue to grow. So yeah, so our ego, when it gets overinflated, even though we all have egos, when it gets overinflated, we develop overconfidence and so forth, uh, we're no longer wise. We will lose that sense of wisdom and everything, and and I think unleashing your firepower with all these different authors and leaders and so forth, uh, in all the different stories, I can attest from watching them that they have wisdom, but it's more of the humble kind. They know what they don't know, and that's the reason they're in this book in terms of leading, and that's the reason MJ even asked Sophie to be part of this, because I know with her, she stays humble as well, right, Dr. Sophie?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And, and truly, every time you think you mastered the craft or learned more of it and became better at it, then you go into something completely new and you're back at zero where you don't know much at all.
hmm,
So I gathered all this information and then I go to a carpenter and I realize he can actually build stuff and do things that I have no clue of how to do that. So who measures who's better or not and on what degrees or extents? Because the opportunity to grow is there for everyone and it can
correct,
happen at any different time and season of life where you're more inspired, empowered, or your circumstances are more allowing sometimes for that flourish to happen. Might have a lady with, 5 kids or 3 kids, and her schedule was not going to be as the same. We're not saying that she won't be able to, absolutely not. But the schedule, the commitments, the time, the obligations might differ. And then as soon as a time frees, they discover themselves in another whole different light and begin to venture and explore within and realize that there is much to blossom and to come out to really experience in this world in a whole different area and way as well. So I do agree, absolutely.
yeah. Even when one has mastered a certain area, even like having a PhD in a certain field of study, things change. Things change all the time. New information comes out, new research comes out, and so forth. And what you were competent in 20 years ago, you may not be competent in anymore, especially if you haven't progressed
Mm.
and adopted the new information, new research, and so forth. And even like in science, science is always trying to challenge the contemporary information that's out there with new information. When new information uh, uh, supersedes the old information is no longer a level of competency between now as it has been replaced. And I look at that and look at all the studies I've had and everything like that. And even if I just stayed in one field in one area, because I want to learn a lot of different mental models and have understandings across, so I can make better decisions and so forth. Yet a lot of what I learned in the past, it no longer applies. Maybe a small percentage applies. So I have to continue to grow and so forth. And
Just look
yeah,
at our technology and artificial intelligence and people who are not able to really apply that in today's time. The younger generation is going to truly be advanced, and like baby boomers or the silent generation will completely have difficulties to connect and integrate with them. And so there is a generational gap for sure. And for those who are not really looking into or adding more, or growing more, they're going to feel challenged a lot more than those who are pivoting and shifting and learning and trying to really adapt to the times.
correct. Yeah, yeah. Except for this baby boomer, he's always
Ah,
working to adapt.
well, you are, I've seen you help many, many, many Gen Zs. So, definitely, you're definitely a great role model and you lead by your amazing example, in applying growth and a growth mindset and practicing and really being that person. It's truly inspiring and definitely the way to be and to continue to feel more alive and feel more fulfilled, more accomplished, more meaningful, because that's what that does to our soul when we really enrich it and we add information and learnings to our brain. We feel more alive. We even participate and contribute in a different way. And it's very healthy to have that in the walk of life, definitely.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Bob.
Well, thank you. It's been a great time getting back with you here on Wisdom Cafe and everything and doing this. And I look
Yes,
forward. We need to do this more often again. Let
absolutely. There's many great things happening, and we'll definitely see the interest and what our audience really need more, and definitely offer that and do more of it for sure.
Absolutely. And I'll have a link to the book itself from Amazon of Unleashing Firepower, and you'll get to read all the different stories and insights from every one of the authors on leadership. So yeah, and I'm excited
Absolutely.
to
And the
continue to
Academy,
read.
I'm excited about the growth and scaling up of this book. Is not just the start. It is really going to be something that will really be a great handbook for your work as an actor.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of great insights, and sometimes there's one little thing that you pick from a person's biography or life on history that either motivates you, inspires you, empowers you, or truly makes you look at something that you're currently doing or dealing with from a complete different angle. And by you shifting or really adopting their way of doing it because it worked, that you see results completely different than your own expectations. So it can only help for sure.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So get your copy.
Yes, get your copy, go down into the description and grab it today. So, well, Dr. Sophie, it's been nice conversation again. And again,
Let's
like I said, let's do it and
do it.
more often. Yes. Take
All
care.
right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.